Hello once again. Hey, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Um, Doing this once again. The reason why I'm doing every day is because I'm gonna keep them short, straight to the throat, clean, concise, to the point, and out. So today's topic is: Where art thou? Where are you hiding in your faith? And from the other two studies, uh, we're beginning with the rightly dividing the word Bible study. And from how it's been revealed to me, the best way to accomplish this is to first teach you or to help you to figure out who you are so that you will know how you should read or begin to rightly divide. So it will impact how you read. And from the first one, I gave examples of what I meant in terms of you read or you see life based on where you're at or who you are. Okay, and the examples I gave a principal versus a regular classroom teacher, a researcher versus a practitioner, an architect versus a builder. Um, from those examples, I explain how um those two competing interests can read the exact same document, but based on who they are, they read them differently. Gave examples of that. So, but moving on. All right. So once again, the learning objectives here are number one, to develop a systematic approach for reading the Bible. And as stated before, the first thing first is first figuring out who you are. And then the next learning objective over time is to mature believers in the Word of God. And today we're going to be focusing on primarily to help you identify where you are with your faith, not my faith, but your faith. All right. So, once again, we're going to start with Genesis 3. Y'all notice I've been staying on Genesis because, as stated before, God is the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. And this thing began in the beginning in Genesis. So I'm going to stay in Genesis. And as I was explaining to you in Genesis 3 is where Adam and Eve bit of the fruit, and the great fall, secondary to from what I showed you, was because they didn't know who they were, a lack of identity, they were able to be tricked out of their, we're going to say, what was theirs or what was appropriately theirs. And so with that, they bit of the fruit and disobeyed God. But with that, I think I showed you also God initially when he uh, approached Adam and Eve, he didn't approach them in a condemning or judgmental fashion. He actually approached them with love. And the first question he asked after they fell or after the great fall was, "Where art thou?" And with that, I explained that the myth was that God changed his mind or changed how he relates to us. That is the myth. God changed his way of how he relates to us. But that is not correct. God's relation to us didn't change. We hid from him. So today, my question is, where art thou? Where are you hiding in your faith? Where are you hiding in your faith? And from, as I stated, from my perspective, knowing who you are just on a basic level right now, just on a basic level right now, we're going to develop this as time goes on. But at the initial onset, I just, at a bare minimum, I want you to realize that you are a Christian and what that means. And I got here Christian born again. And in the simplest terms, that just means you're saved. You're saved. And from that, everything we read, how we should live our life actually is beyond everything we read. But everything we read should come from the belief perspectives as a Christian, not as a non-Christian. And I showed the comparisons between how non-Christians view the Bible. Just another book, fiction or nonfiction, just an inspirational book, a book of principles, and it may or may not have impact on your life. And from what I said in the first one was that, believe it or not, 99% of the Christians who I talk to read their Bible as if they are non-Christians. They do not read it from the perspective that they are saved. So right now, at a bare minimum, I need you to know that you are saved. And how I'm going to approach every Bible study is that you're saved, and we're going to read it from that perspective as we further develop. But once again, where are you in your belief or in your faith? That's what I put in your faith. And here's what I call the First Trinity, which is believe or belief, trust or faith. And traditionally, we have used these terms interchangeably. And the reason why in Greek, those three words in English, in Greek, are derived from the same word, if not the same word. So, as you can see below, belief, the Greek word is pistai. Trust is a derivative of belief, which is apistion. And I put the actual Greek lettering, which you can see that pistai is embedded in that word, and then faith is the exact same word as belief. And so in Greek, the words were the same, but the question comes into play. If the words were the same, why in the Bible they're different? And so my answer to that is God is very intentional. God is very intentional. And because he's intentional, the way the Bible was translated into English, the context, the context of the word helped them to define which word. Now I can go into all these different things about belief, trust, and faith. So we could break it down, but I believe once again, all scriptures are given by inspiration from God. And also, likewise, the translation has to be included into that because Jesus stated that his disciples, his apostles, will be able to speak in new tongues. And when they went out to the rest of the world, everybody did not speak Greek, Aramaic, or Hebrew, and they had to speak in their native tongue to communicate with them. God gave them the ability to do that. And with our Bible, that's one of those abilities, is that it was able to be translated into English for our edification, for us to understand. So I won't belabor that point, but I'm going to prove to you that um, belief, trust, and faith are three different words and are not to be interchanged. All right. So bear with me for a second. I'm going to see if I can share the video I want you to see. If not, I will come back to this, but bear with me a quick second. I'm not going to stop the recording. added. I'm just gonna, hey, well, this is new for me, it's new for you all, so we're just gonna go through it. How about that? So, let's see how this works. It's not working. Oh, like I said, bear with me, please. Bear with me. We're gonna stop sharing. Hello, you can see me maybe. I'm gonna hit the escape button, decrease that. Stay with me, stay with me. I'm gonna hit share content. Ah, share. All right, so here we go.
Praise you, God. Praise you, Jesus. Yes, Jesus. That's my thing. Praise you. Praise you, Jesus. I don't want to talk to anyone, Dan. Okay. Gotcha. Praise. Talk all you want. That's why the world is watching. Till you get here. Praise you, Jesus. You're doing good. 11 and a half minutes.
Nick is now at the halfway point of this walk.
How about that?
All right. So hopefully you all saw that. And so let's get back to the PowerPoint presentation. And go with slideshow again. All right, so let's do this. Let's go through this. All right, sorry about that, but hopefully y'all got an opportunity to see the tightrope walker. So let's deal with this. Tightrope walker. Hopefully you all see that. So hopefully you will appreciate what we're getting ready to go through. So believe and believe. In the pure sense, belief or what we believe is for most of us is based on what we can see or have experienced personally. So what we can see with our eyes. So likewise, if somebody was to ask you, was that particular tightrope walker, couldn't he walk across that rope? You would say, yes, because you have actually seen it and you said, okay, that tightrope walker can walk across that rope. All right. So likewise, I'm going to say God is the tightrope walker. And very clear, God is not a tightrope. In this analogy, we're going to say God is a tightrope walker. And with this, we have seen God walk across the tightrope backwards and forth, up, down, with a wheelbarrow, all kinds of stuff. And if I asked you, can God walk across the tightrope walker? You would say yes. So for most people, that's how we believe. Yes, we believe God exists. We believe God is maybe instrumental in a lot of people's lives. Uh, but on that very basic level, yes, we believe in God. So most of us would say, yeah, we know God, we believe because of what I just said. All right. But it's always about what we can see, what we can see. All right. All right, trust. So trust is now we got God, like I said, he could walk across the tightrope. And as you can see, I got this tight, but I got this rudimentary picture for the wheelbarrow. Hey, I'm getting good at using this. But as you can see, once again, God represents the uh, tightrope walker. And as you can see, what his trust is, although we know God can walk across the rope with the tightrope and with the wheelbarrow, now God says, get in the wheelbarrow. And that's, if you get in the wheelbarrow, that's called trust. Now you can trust in the ability because you've seen him do it, that he can actually do it with you. That's trust. That is trust. So explain it to a different way. Believing someone can do what they say they can do. All right. Another way of trust is believing something can do what it's designed to do. Say, for instance, when you saw the original video, the rope, the guy had to trust that the rope will hold him. All right, we get in our car. The difference between most people, when you get in your car in the morning, you trust that it's going to crank up. That's why you go get in it. You trust that it's going to crank up. Most people, some people got pieces of junk and they don't know from day to day, but that's trust. Trust that it's going to do this. It's trust that it's going to crank up every day. So, and some people get to this point with God where we trust that we're willing to get in the wheelbarrow. God says he's going to do something. He said, okay, get in. We'll get in that wheelbarrow. Some of us will go there. Some of us will go there. Not saying all of us. Some of us will go there. All right. So another example from, remember I told you if anybody can't take you to his his word in all this, then you can throw it in the trash. So Numbers 21:8. All right, Numbers 21:8. And give you a backdrop to Numbers 21. Basically, the people had been delivered from Egypt and they were complaining about all kinds of things. So God sent serpents, and the serpents were killing people. Literally, I was like, this is in here. Read Numbers 21. Literally was killing people. And so the people asked Moses to ask God to have to show them mercy. So this is what God did. And this is what he said. And the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent, set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he looked upon it, shall live. So, why does this have something to do with trust? Well, once again, the people already had witnessed that what God he could do. He brought them out of Egypt. They knew God exists. They didn't have a problem with their belief in God. They believed God. The question was right now, are you going to trust what he says and do what he says? And so look at what he says. He said, for those, it will come to pass that for everyone that is bitten, when they look upon it, they shall live. So guess what? You got bit by a snake and it was killing people, and you trust God. You trust God. You believe that he was going to do what he said he was going to do. If you trust God, you live. But if you didn't trust God, you died. See the difference? They knew God exists. He just delivered them out of Egypt. He just parted the Red Sea. They knew his power. But the question is, did they trust him to do what he said he was gonna do and could do? And so here's the beauty of this. He said, if you look upon it, you shall live. He didn't say if you pray upon it. He didn't say if you give something to the church. He didn't ask you to sow a seed on it. God just says simply look at it and you shall live. Right? That's trust. Faith. So here's faith. All right. Here's the tightrope walker. Here's faith. All right. Faith is this right here. Now God tell you, look, I'm gonna send my son tomorrow. He is as equally as good as I am as doing this, equally good, if not better, to do this tightrope thing. And so he said, I'm gonna send him tomorrow. So the son shows up the next day. You ain't never seen him, never seen what he can do anything. And then the son is blindfolded on the tightrope. And then he ain't walked across this tightrope not one time. Not one time. And he blindfolded. And then he says, all right, you get in the wheelbarrow, blindfolded. Let's go. And if you get in that wheelbarrow, that's faith. That is faith. That's faith. Hopefully, you all see the difference. If not, replay this. Replay it as many times as you have to get it. But here's what I'm going to show you. Again, so faith in the basic sense of believing in something, believe something will happen without a prior experience of it. Believing something will happen without a prior experience of it. All right. And the Bible, the definition, here's the definition of faith. All right. From Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So remember, faith, if you have to see something before you can, it ain't faith. It ain't faith. It ain't faith at all. So listen what it says. Faith is now for the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So you have to really, like I said, you have no experience with it at all. You just got to, I'm gonna say these words: trust and believe. Trust and believe. Trust and believe to get to faith. So hopefully you all see the difference between belief, trust, faith. So once again, the reason why I wanted to do this, you need to figure out where you are in your faith. Are you only trusting God? Do you only believe God? Or do you have faith in God? I'm not here to answer that question for you. But those are the things that you have to think about. Do you only believe God? Do you trust God? And do you have faith in God? Three different things, three different things. And I hope to explain it to you. And here's why it's also important. What is required for salvation? Here it is, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. What did God say the requirement was? And actually, Jesus said this. He said, the only thing I'm requiring that you do is believe. Believe me that my son died on that cross, was risen from the dead. He died on the cross for our sins, and he was risen from the dead. I'm just asking you to believe. I'm not even asking you to trust me or have faith. That's a totally different story and a totally different Bible study. So once again, I'm gonna keep coming back to this. Hebrews 6:18, that by two immutable things, which immutable is unchanging over time, are unable to change, in which it was impossible for God to lie. So immutable. It don't matter what you believe. If you're an atheist, still ain't gonna change it. Can't change it. Don't matter. So whether you believe it or not, it don't matter. That's the big thing about it. Immutable. It's unchanged. It doesn't matter what you believe. It still doesn't make it a lie. So no matter what you believe, it is impossible for God to lie.